looking back on the first few weeks of the season, how do you assess the way the team has started this campaign?
Yeah, I think we've got to be really pleased with how we started. Good amount of clean sheets, good amount of points on the board, and wins to match. And yeah, I think we've got to be really pleased with ourselves, and we just got to keep pushing forward now.
When looking at your own form, you were recently voted as our Player of the Month for August. How much are you enjoying your football right now?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying my football. Got a smile on my face again, and you know, I'm enjoying being here, and it helps when the boys are great as well. We have a good laugh off the pitch, but when it's time to work, we really put the work in, and it starts in training, and it leads into match days, and I think performances are really showing from everyone.
You've been entrusted with the armband on a couple of occasions in the absence of Nathan Ralph. How much does that responsibility mean to you to be able to lead this team every now and then?
Yeah, whether I've got the armband or not, if Ralphie isn't available, yeah, it's an honour to wear an armband, of course. But I think the way I try and play, I try and be a leader, regardless of if you've got an armband on or not, and that's always sort of the role that I try and sort of put forward on a football pitch for myself, and yeah, help the team out. And if it means having an armband or not to try and lead, you know, then yeah, I'm grateful either way.
And then looking at Rochdale, the most informed team in the division right now, how excited are you to go up there and test yourselves?
Yeah, we as a team, 2 wins last year against them, and we've got to make sure that we got there this time round and get another win. Obviously, it was a bit of a difficult kind of game last time with the playoff run, and sort of how we managed to come back from being behind on a couple of occasions, and the fight that we did show only puts us sort of in a good position really going into this time round, so that we can go and attack and make sure that we come out on the right end of the result.
Nice one, thanks Ben.
No worries.
Ben, looking back on the Boston United draw, what would you say is the biggest takeaway from that game you guys took?
I think a bit of character really. Probably in an attacking sense, we probably should have scored more than 1 goal. But when you then fall behind and sort of, you know, it's one of those ones really where you do go behind, but you got to make sure that you got to keep fighting, and you got to find a way to get 1 goal at least, so you don't lose the game, and then try and kick on. Which I feel that we, even towards the end, we did carry on pushing, and we did try and get the other goal, but it just wasn't to be on the day.
Absolutely, and you know, it's great to hear you say in there you've got a smile back on your face. Of course, you're in that Player of the Month award as well. What's driving that at the moment? What's driving?
I think just the training ground. I think, to be honest, we all come in, and whether that's playing darts or whether that's going in the gym and just having a bit of banter while you're doing your prehab work before training, or whether that's in the changing rooms and everyone's just having a bit of a joke between themselves, and I think that's where it probably stems from. And then obviously going out to football pitch, like I said a minute ago, when it's time to work, you've got to work, you've got to put the effort in. But I think that sort of camaraderie on and off the pitch is probably what's the most important thing, where you do then get the smile on your face.
It's interesting how important that balance is, by the sounds of it, to you. And in terms of leadership, having worn the captain's armband, what are your sort of principles when it comes to leadership then?
I think just first of all, sort of like showing by example, trying to play to the best of your ability for yourself, and others will follow in a way, or whether that's using your voice to communicate and organising, and especially being sort of as a defender sort of behind the game, sort of talking is a big responsibility, and I think if you can do that and do it well, I think it's only good for others to then listen to you and make sure that they're in the right places where you want them to be, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's lots of aspects really.
Yeah, we've certainly seen it from the press box how much you're communicating with your defence, which has been a mainstay pretty much of these opening 9 games for you as well. Since you arrived here, including your loan spell from Colchester from starting in January, what would you say is the biggest development that this defence has made over that time?
I think just knowing what each other do well, what each other probably don't do well at times, whether that's you're covering around each other in certain situations, or for me, I like to be the aggressive centre half out of probably us 3, that go and win your aerial duels and the rest will mop up kind of thing. So I think everyone's got their own positives and everyone's got their own negatives in a way. And I think if you can work out that quickly, which I feel like we have done, especially the start of this season, I think it's only gonna be good for the remaining games that we've got.
I mean, how strong do you think this Southend United defence is in comparison to the rest of the league right now?
I can only speak for ourselves, and I think that we're doing well. We're keeping clean sheets. We're nullifying them with chances, and the goals that we have conceded, we could have done better in them, and that's an actual positive. And I suppose in a way that teams aren't carving us open, or teams aren't better than us on the day. It's sometimes the individual errors that are letting ourselves down, which then allowing the other team to score. So as long as we can cut those mistakes out, or those little errors on our behalf, I think it will only probably keep more clean sheets.
And just very quickly, part of your Player of the Month performance was getting the third goal against SC Halifax Town as well with your header. You still went through the celebration. You've done it a couple of times as well on scoring for Southend.
Yeah, it just goes to my son really. His name's Archie, so I just like to make it away with my hands, and it's just a nice little moment for me and my family that I can sort of contribute in a way, and sort of show him the love that I have for him.
Yeah, thanks.
It's the first of the teams that we played again in the playoffs. Do you ever think back to the playoffs now, and does that pain drive you forward, or the momentum that we showed give you encouragement, or how do you view back on it? How do you completely block it out now?
I think you've always got to look back and on the goods and the bads, the highs and the lows, if you like, and that was a great moment in a way, because we come on the right end of it, but we started the game probably not so great, and we found ourselves behind. And the positives that we can take out of it is that we have the character to drive on and make sure that we keep pushing to the final whistle and got the job done on that day. Now the playoffs as a whole, could we have done better at the end? Could I have done better at the end of it when we got to Wembley? Of course. So we're all hungry to put that right and draw a line under it, and I know it's painful to do, but draw a line under it and move forwards, because it's a long old season, and we're so far in a good position to carry on and keep pushing, so that we do end up on the right of it at the end of the season.
Yeah, I was going to ask as well, it might be a bit personal, but you've got like your footballing tattoo on your leg as well, haven't you? What's the story behind that one?
It's quite a detailed one really. When it's actually me and my dad. When we were younger, he used to take me over the park with a bag of balls all the time. He used to say to me, one day you'll be on the big stage, and it goes back to when me and him were actually at Southend United together when we got to the Papa John's Trophy final. And the background of it was basically a picture that we got together. On the background was Wembley. So I put the two ideas together of a little silhouette of the idea of a childhood, used the background of the picture that we had, because he was my role model growing up, and someone that I really looked up to. So yeah, that sort of tattoo is probably dedicated to him.
Yeah, because he's been a manager as well.
He's been assistant manager. Yeah. He's been at various clubs now, and obviously he was there when I was at Southend United. So yeah, I've great fond memories looking back.